Today is going to be the start of a brand new reading vlog this week. I thought I'd go ahead and start this reading vlog outside just because it's finally nice and sunny here in Portland. I don't know if you can hear all of the birds chirping. It's just so freaking nice right now and I love being out here. So this week in particular, I'm trying to finish 2 books. The first one is one that I started back in January. You did get a little bit of a glimpse of me reading it during my vlog to Los Angeles when Ben and I went down there for a weekend to escape the rainy and cold weather here in Portland. And that is Breast and Eggs by Miyako Kawakami. Now, it is reasonable to think that I probably wouldn't like this book since I have been reading it for a very long time. It's been almost 2 months now, but it's actually the complete opposite. I am taking my time with it. I am savoring it. It's just one of those books that right from the beginning, I thoroughly enjoyed the author's writing style and her authorial voice. So I have been reading it a little bit here and there. It's one that I'm not trying to rush through. I'm taking my time and I can definitely see it being in my top 10 of the year already. It's that good. So it's actually divided into 2 separate books within the actual novel. I already made it past book 1, and in that one we are introduced to the 3 main characters. Our first main character is Natsuko, and actually the book is told from her point of view, and she lives in Tokyo. She is an up-and-coming writer. She has a sister named Makiko who is obsessed with breasts and with breast augmentation. She thinks that by augmenting her breast that she will find happiness and that she will have a greater value in life. Now Makiko has a daughter whose name is Midoriko, and she is coming of age and she has all of these questions about her body that she feels like she can't really ask her mom about. She doesn't really understand and grasp all of these changes that are happening to her. Why does she bleed at certain times of the month? And why is she expected to have children since she's a girl? So we actually follow her through her diary entries as she's asking all of these questions to herself, and we just get to hear all of her thoughts on womanhood as she's going through these changes. She actually is going through a point in her life where she sees communication with her mom. She is not talking, not one word, nothing. And all of these thoughts that we get through her are entirely through a notebook that she writes in. I'll read a little passage just so that you do get an idea. I was born a girl, so yeah, I definitely want to have a baby of my own eventually. Where does that even come from? Does blood coming out of your body make you a woman? A potential mother? What makes that so great anyway? Does anyone really believe that? Just because they make us read these stupid books doesn't make it true. I hate it so much. It feels like I'm trapped inside of my body. It decides when I get hungry and when I'll get my period. From birth to death, you have to keep eating and making money just to stay alive. So we just get this very insightful look into her head and what she's thinking, and I really, really love her point of view. So the plot of book 1 primarily is that we're following Makiko and Midoriko as they are visiting Natsuko. They are coming from Osaka to Tokyo and spending a weekend with her. They haven't really seen her in a while, and they're just essentially catching up. It's really about their day-to-day lives and about their thoughts and about their struggles of womanhood. Now in book 2 so far, and I'm not that far into book 2, but so far it looks like we're maybe 10 years into the future. Midoriko is now in college and we're primarily following Natsuko as she's narrating her own struggles of womanhood as well as her struggles becoming a writer. So I can't wait to freaking finish this. So good. And the next book that I hope to finish in this reading vlog is Havana Year Zero by Carla Suarez. This is translated from Spanish by Christina McSweeney, and this is a Cuban author. So I'm actually about 80 or so pages into Havana Year Zero, and so far I'm not really sure what to think about it, to be honest. It's another one of those books where we're also following people's daily lives, and it's been interesting so far to hear about Cuba, especially during this period. It is set during 1993, so right after the collapse of the Soviet bloc. Cuba was receiving aid from Russia, and so they're at their lowest point. And really at the core of it, we're following just 3 to 5 characters. Our main character in particular is looking for this document that proves that the telephone was invented in Cuba, and she hopes that by finding this, she will sort of restore some sort of hope to Cuba. Our main character, Julia, so far is not a likable character, and I don't think she's intended to be one. Really, all of the characters in here so far are deeply flawed. I'm really enjoying this slower paced look into their lives, but I really am hoping that it just picks up a little bit more. I'm really interested in the mystery of this document, what happened to it, what is the truth. I want a little bit more on that. So I'm going to be reading both of these over the next couple of days, and I'll give you periodic updates on my progress and what I think about them. But now let me see if I can go ahead and capture some of these birds for you because they're beautiful and I love them. It's great. Oh my god, I bet my hair is a mess, huh? Yeah, but it's fine. We're all friends here. So Sochi is joining me here on the couch while I edit my February wrap up. So I do want to go ahead and finish it. Editing, I would say, takes the longest part of getting a video up. Even with the prep and knowing exactly how I feel about books and knowing exactly what I want to say, the raw footage of some videos just ends up being so long, and trying to edit that down to a nice, consumable, but also coherent video, oh, it takes time. So much time. So much time. I would say that for any video that I put out that's anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes, it takes almost 3 to 4 hours for me to edit because, well, before, I recently have a new mic that actually plugs into my camera, and ooh, lifesaver. If you're someone who is planning on starting a YouTube channel, get one of the mics that plugs into your camera, because I used to have an external audio, and even just trying to sync my audio to my video, oh, painful. But it's still like 3 or 4 hours of editing, especially when I'm shouting out other channels or when I'm talking about books that I don't physically own. I have to go find the book photos, or I want to go ahead and find people's photos to add them, link their channels, link the book. It's so time consuming. Everything that goes into the description box also has to be updated. Then I have to add music. I have to put transitions in. It's literally an unpaid second job for me. So, by the way, if you have any questions about the editing process or anything like that, let me know and I'll make sure to go ahead and answer it in next week's vlog. So I got a package and I thought I'd open it in front of y'all because I never do that. It's funny because it says handle with care, do not bend, but it was shoved into my mailbox. What the heck? So I think I know what it is. I ordered this art print from Ana Alvarado and I really loved it. So I got it. Yep, that's what it is. Okay, here we go. Isn't this just stunning? I think it's so beautiful. I love all of the butterflies in her hair and just like how peaceful she looks. I really like this print. I didn't realize how small it was going to be, which makes sense because it was pretty cheap. So I guess I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger, but I didn't check the dimensions. So now I don't know where to put it because it's a little too small for the area where I wanted it. So let's go take a look. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. I know, don't judge, it's a mess. It's a mess in here. Oh, hi Mia, what's up? What you doing? So, originally, I wanted to put it on that wall, and I eventually want to put some bookshelves there, and then I wanted to put this art print there, but I thought it was going to be a lot bigger, so somewhere there. But now, based on the size, I'm thinking I can put it with these prints that I have here. I don't know, maybe like here. Y'all are gonna think that I'm always just walking around with messy hair, and I mean, it's true. Let me just fix my ponytail. You know, it's just when I'm home, I'd rather just be comfortable. So I just always lounge around in some nice sweatpants, a nice sweater, and put my hair up in a bun or a ponytail. I got my book of the month box. I'm so excited, so I thought I'd go ahead and open it with y'all. There's one particular book in here that I was really excited about, and I kind of just want to drop everything that I said a couple of days ago and just read this book. So that might happen, and I'm so sorry, but I've been really anticipating this book. We'll see though, we'll see. So the first book that I ended up getting is Tell Me Everything, the story of a private investigation by Erica Kraus. This is what it looks like, and I think this one stood out to me because it sounded like it was going to be a little bit about true crime, part memoir and part literary true crime. Tell Me Everything is the mesmerizing story of a landmark sexual assault investigation and the female private investigator who helped crack it open. That sounds super interesting. This is another one that I do want to make sure I get to very soon. This is the book that I was so excited about. It's the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. Simone St. James has now become one of my favorite mystery thriller writers. I freaking love her work. I read The Sundown Motel and The Broken Girls, 5 stars, both of them. Her books just work for me. The way she writes, her voice, the dual timelines that she does, everything about them is so great. And I love that she's able to have mysteries but still include supernatural elements that don't take away from the mystery. So I'm really excited for this one. I actually don't really know what this book is about. I just saw her name and I was like, I need to have it. So it says, a true crime vlogger gets more than she bargained for while interviewing the woman acquitted of 2 cold case slayings in this chilling new novel. Wow, okay, so there's gonna be a true crime element in here too. Shall we add both of these to this reading vlog? You know, this vlog is gonna be a mess. I apologize already. So this is set in Oregon, and I love books that are set in Oregon because I'm a transplant to Portland. I moved here 2 years ago. And whenever books are set in Oregon and an author just describes all the scenery, I can just vividly picture everything because I live here. So that's gonna be exciting. I think I might start this one today. I think it might happen. We'll see. But yes, I'm super excited. And then I ended up doing one more add-on, and that was Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas. Yeah, by Lenny Zumas. And this is called Red Clocks. The reason that I got this one is because every single time I go to Powell's, I end up seeing this book. And I believe the author is from Portland, actually. She teaches in the MFA program in creative writing at Portland State University, which is super exciting. I do want to start also reading more locally and read from authors here in Oregon, Washington, and Vancouver, Canada, just because it's super close by. And the reason that I particularly also picked up this one is because it's sort of along the lines of The Handmaid's Tale, and it's pretty current to things that are going on in Texas with women losing their reproductive rights and with abortion laws happening and shit like that, which is scary. In this ferociously imaginative novel, abortion is once again illegal in America. In vitro fertilization is banned, and the Personhood Amendment grant rights of life, liberty, and property to every embryo. In a small Oregon fishing town, 5 very different women navigate these new barriers alongside 8 old questions surrounding motherhood, identity, and freedom. Of course, it's also set in Oregon. I didn't even think about it being set in Oregon. You know what? Maybe I can read both of these since they're both set in Oregon together, and we can do a reading books set in Oregon vlog next week. And I can finish the 2 books that I talked about this week and still be on track. But I really want to read this one this week. We'll think about it. We're gonna see. Okay. Well, those were all of the books. So that was what I wanted to show you right now. I'm actually still at work right now, and my break is about to be over, so I can't really update you on Breast and Eggs, but that is the book that I have been making my way through. I'm a little bit more than halfway through now, about 200 pages in. And I think it's a little bit over 400 pages. So yeah, I'm about halfway through so far. I will come back and update you a little later because I do have work, so I don't really have time right now. But I guess really briefly, it's going in a completely different direction from what book 1 was. Well, not really a completely different direction. We still have some mentions of Makiko and Midoriko, but it's really just focused more on Natsuko now. And I think it's set like 10 years after book 1 or something like that. And now I guess we're delving more into her and her womanhood and what that means and what she wants. Part of the discussion in book 2, or the theme surrounding book 2 and particularly within Breast and Eggs, is this idea of fertilization and how it's significantly more difficult for women who are single and don't have a partner, or for same-sex couples, to be able to be accepted into these programs that help with fertilization. So really interesting, but I don't really know where it's going to go from now. It's kind of up in the air, and I'm okay with that right now, but we'll see. So I will update you later. Hey there, so it's later on in the day and Ben is going to be home late. He commutes from Hillsborough all the way to Portland, and with traffic it's about a 40-minute drive. So I'm going to start dinner while I go ahead and read a little bit more of Breast and Eggs. I actually went ahead and decided to check out the library audiobook copy from my library. That way I can follow along in the book, but also read it while I'm doing other stuff like chores and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make some dinner before Ben comes home. I already started the pot with rice. We make rice on the stove. I know I should use a rice cooker for the rice. We actually do have one, but I just prefer making rice on the stove. Just nice and fluffy white rice. I'm gonna make my famous Brussels sprouts. I mean, they're not really famous, but I love Brussels sprouts. They're one of my favorite things to eat. I cook them in caramelized onions and it's so good. So good. So good. Yum. It's like perfect. Yeah. Any flavor, so hopefully it does. Hello, my darlings. So today is Thursday, March 10th. Is it the 10th? Yeah, I think it's the 10th. It's Thursday for sure, but I just don't know the date. So I haven't really made much progress in either of the two books that I wanted to read for this reading vlog. I mean, the reality of it is that I don't read as fast as some other people read. I do take my time with books, and you know, it is what it is. I don't need to be reading 100 or 200 pages every single day if I'm not feeling like reading. And lately I've been feeling under the weather. My cough is just not going away, and I had 2 big presentations that I had to do for work this week, which just added a layer of stress. So some of the time I spend preparing for that. But anyway, I'm actually feeling like sitting down and reading. So I think I'm just going to try to get through Breast and Eggs today. Not through all of it, but you know, make a little bit of progress. I definitely at least want to get to page 300. I have a little bit of time. Ben went out to get takeout today because he doesn't feel like cooking and I don't feel like cooking. And we've both been craving Korean food lately. He usually gets kimchi jjigae and I get sundubu. And oh my goodness, when I'm feeling low and under the weather, sundubu is like the perfect thing to eat. And so that is going to be it for the night. I'm really happy tomorrow is Friday. Hey there, so this week hasn't gone the way that I planned. I still haven't finished either book, and I was even thinking about just scrapping the vlog because I didn't finish the books. But then I realized that it's totally fine to not finish a book within an allotted amount of time. If I get to the books that I wanted to read during a particular week, that's awesome, that's excellent. But I want to stop putting so much pressure on myself to read and consume books as fast as other people or compare myself to other people. And this week, as I was reading and really taking my time with these books, I realized that I was just really enjoying them, and I don't want to push myself to finish a book just for the sake of a vlog, if that makes sense. So actually, I only have about 80 pages left in Breasts and Eggs. So I could have definitely finished this today and then updated the vlog, but I felt like I would have rushed through it, and that's not what I want to do. So I will be ending this vlog soon, and I'm sorry that I can't give you my fully formed thoughts on both of these books because I just haven't finished them. This week has also been a little bit bad for me in that my cough hasn't gotten any better. I'm literally trying to get better. I've been drinking so much water, drinking so much tea, resting, drinking cough drops, eating honey, and nothing seems to make it go away. It's gotten to the point where my chest is hurting a little bit. So I didn't feel like reading some points during this week. Then I had an accident. I was chopping garlic because Ben and I were making dinner, and I know I shouldn't do this. I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm the kind of person that whenever you're talking, I have to look at you. So I was chopping and we were talking, and I looked away and I like slammed a very sharp knife down on my finger, cut off not only my nail but a chunk from underneath my nail. It's been a struggle. You know, this week hasn't gone as planned, but that's totally fine, you know? So let's talk about Breasts and Eggs. I am about 80 pages from finishing it, and I think this might be one of the best books that I've read this year so far. It's lengthy. It's a little bit more than 400 pages, almost 500. How much is it? 430. So right under 450 pages. Does it need to be this long? Not necessarily. It is divided into 2 separate books, and as a whole, but primarily book number 1 really focuses on womanhood and what it means to be a woman, and on beauty standards and on motherhood. Book number 2 is twice as long as book number 1, and this is really where we start to get into reproductive rights, but still addressing those topics of womanhood and what does it mean to be a woman and what does it mean to have agency over your body. Natsuko primarily in book number 2 wants to explore this. She knows that she wants to have a kid, and she has this intense desire to have a kid, but she is asexual and she doesn't think that she can have sex with a partner. She doesn't even want a partner, but she wants a kid, and so she starts to look at artificial insemination, and there's just so many nuanced discussion about artificial insemination and fertility, about carrying children, about whether even children should be born, about whether even we have the right as people to decide for an unborn child to be born. What if they didn't want to be born in the first place? So many great discussions. I will have to say that book number 2 is super slow, and I think it's supposed to mirror Natsuko's life as an older woman as she's navigating through life. And that way it's also very pensive and reflective. And so if you're someone that enjoys very fast-paced books, I feel like Breasts and Eggs will not necessarily work for you because it is intentionally very slow. So lots of great discussion so far. I really love it. I think it might be a favorite of the year. So I'm also almost done with The Body by Bill Bryson. This is my nonfiction pick of the month. I'm trying to read one nonfiction book a month at least. This one can feel like a textbook at times just because there is a lot of talk on biology and on our body and the mechanisms that happen within the body. And so I'm finding it very illuminating to learn more about my own body, and not necessarily as like a woman, because it's not really women centric, it's more like biology centric, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm enjoying reading it slowly. The interesting thing about reading this book is that I know so much more about the body in general, but it's interesting to see how much is still unknown about human bodies. So I will be done with this book sometime soon. The other book that I've been reading this week is Havana Year Zero by Carla Suarez, and I'm maybe halfway through this. Yeah, it's one that I'm enjoying when I do pick it up and I start to read it, but once I put it down, I don't necessarily have an urge to get back to it. So it's one that I'm mildly enjoying, and I'm interested to see where it's going. So far, we're just following the lives of these people who want to find this very important document, and it's really just focused more on insights into their life and what it's like to grow up in Cuba and what it's like to be Cuban. So enjoying it, but I'm not loving it. So hopefully that will change over the next couple of pages or chapters. So once I finish the books that I need to finish this week, I will go ahead and start The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruizafon. This is the book club pick for Lit in Translation, and I'm freaking stoked to read this. I know so many people love Carlos Ruizafon, and in particularly The Shadow of the Wind, so I'm just excited to see what the hype is all about and to see if I really enjoy it. So this is book number 1 to the Cemetery of Forgotten Dreams. Is that what the... is that what it's called? It doesn't really say. I believe they're more like companion novels, so you don't have to read them one right after the other. So nonetheless, I'm really excited to get to this one this week. It is a chonker. It's 500 pages. I think it's right under 500 pages. Wow, okay, just the books that I've been reading this month have been really long, and at some point I was getting frustrated because I wasn't finishing any of the books. But it's fine. They're bigger books. I'm reading at my own pace, and really that's all that matters. So that completes this week's reading vlog. Again, I am so sorry that I wasn't able to finish the 2 books that I set out to finish this week. You know, but I think it's also important to see how some booktubers can't necessarily read quite as fast as other booktubers. And to be honest, most of the time when I do read fast, it's not necessarily because I'm a fast reader, because I am a very slow reader. It just happens that I have more time than most people. Besides my cats and my dogs, I am not married. I live with my partner and we're both very independent people. And I do have a 9-to-5 job, but other than that, my weekends are completely free. And I don't really have other responsibilities besides that. So I do want to acknowledge that I do have time privilege and where I can read as much or as little as I want. So I guess I just want to be realistic with y'all about my actual time reading and what I can read in a week. And sometimes I can read a lot in a week, and sometimes I can't even finish a book. So I hope that helps. If you've made it this far, leave an emoji that reflects how you're feeling this week. I hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.